Oh God, I don't know what to say, but I'll start off by saying you're very welcome to my podcast, Aidan Murphy Magic. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you very much for having me on.
I'm a little bit afraid of you, I have to say.
Don't be.
You're going to read my mind now and tell me what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But come here, Aidan, nominated and finalist for Wedding Entertainer of the Year 3 times.
Yeah.
Appeared on Don't Tell the Bride.
Yes.
1.7 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Leo Varadkar's personal magician. Performed for high-end corporate companies like Google, Vodafone, Meta and Coca-Cola, and guest entertainer on cruise ships. Yeah. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Geez, that's some CV, isn't it?
That's some of it.
Come here. I'm going to start off by asking you, how did you get into magic?
Many years ago, it was about 7 or 8, and I found a book randomly, and it was a magic book with card tricks, easy to do card tricks, and I just got the book, got a deck of cards, and I started trying to learn little bits. They were all like mathematical tricks that you have to use a table for, but I loved it. I loved the thinking process of performing, and from there then I just kept
learning.
Yeah, I was growing up at the time that the internet wasn't really. You had to connect the wire into the back of the computer,
and if your phone went off.
Yeah, you had to ask if somebody was making a phone call for half an hour. I have to use the internet.
Oh my God!
YouTube was terrible for. Now it's obviously easier, but YouTube was awful back then. You'd take an hour to download a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
But I just exposed myself to books and DVDs from different magic shops around the world, and just constant graft. I loved it from the time I first saw it, and I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I remember telling my parents before I even started magic, I said, I want to be a magician. I saw Keith Barry on TV.
Yes.
And I said, I want to do magic.
And what did they say? Get a real job.
Yeah, that's a real job. Yeah. But anybody I said it to, they were just saying, no, it's not a real job. So
yeah. But what a job to have.
Oh, it's fantastic, yeah.
And you clearly love it.
I love it.
Yeah. Do you know, I actually think you are so amazing that I went after you, and I paid, just in case anyone thinks this is an ad, I paid in full, to come to my book launch, my wedding book launch recently.
Correct, yeah.
And everyone was going, oh, Jesus Christ. It was unbelievable. Yeah. At one stage I looked over and I don't know what you had on fire, but I was like, oh, jeez, I'm going to have to call a fire brigade now. But you know what I love, I suppose, when I see you at weddings, I love documenting the story that's happening. So you know what you're doing, and you have everyone's attention, and they're so focused on what you're doing, and they're nearly trying to catch you out.
Yeah, the whole time.
Oh, the whole time. Yeah. And I just love that moment where you catch them out and the expressions are just like unbelievable.
That's what I live for. And that's what most performers would live for, is that reaction. It's not actually the doing of the task, it's actually their reaction to what we're doing is what feeds us the energy to keep doing it. And
tell me, so I suppose for weddings, you don't just do weddings, you do lots of corporate gigs as well. But for example, weddings, because that's what we're here for today. Do you spend lots of time preparing in advance before you go to the wedding? Or do you know what you're going to do when you get there? Yeah, well, there's
obviously I have a set routine of tricks that I'd give or take. I do 3 or 4 routines at each group, but I have a repertoire of routines that I perform, and I kind of stick to those, and they change over the course of the year, and keep adding things and taking things out. But it's just constant adapting. And when I'm getting ready for the wedding, everything just kind of goes into like a fisherman box, a makeup box, and then I bring that into the venue. I used to have a briefcase, a black briefcase,
right?
And when I was doing a gig in the Viva Stadium, Leo Varadkar was a guest speaker at it, and I left the briefcase on the in the corporate area. I just left it in behind the radiator, and I told the duty manager on. I said, "That's mine." But what happened was, when I was in the function room waiting to perform for Leo, they obviously switched duty managers, and then when I came back out, my case was gone. And I asked him, I was like, I left my case over here, and he said, he said, come with me, and he walked me the whole way around the far side of the Viva. He said, we thought it was a bomb. They were going to throw it out onto the.
Oh my God.
So it's just a black briefcase, a normal office briefcase. So it probably did look dodgy, but I had told the duty manager on, I was like, this is mine, don't get rid of it. And I was looking for it, for like everything that I use was
that you
in
need.
Yes, it's like...
I'd be like, somebody taking my camera back.
Yes.
Oh
everything was in, some of the stuff was on me, but most of my stuff was gone. And I was like, they were going to throw it out onto the pitch, they thought it was, because Leo was there, they thought it was...
And where was this?
In the Aviva Stadium.
Oh my God. Could you imagine your name? They had to do that in the middle of the
That was
pitch.
good. That'd be a good promotion for a magician, yeah.
Oh my God, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I had to change it to it's more of a fisherman. I got it in Maplin's or something. It's a...
Do you know what? You need my bag. You need my Jenny McCarthy bag. No one's going to throw that away. And did anybody ever teach you magic? Or did you, like you said yourself, just go and buy books and look at YouTube? And did you ever do any classes, or did you totally teach yourself?
No, just completely self-taught from... I think I started when I was 8 or 9.
Love it.
It was a wasted childhood for some of the time. But I just spent a lot of my time even in school, just practicing at the end of school. Anytime I got a chance to finish the homework, I'd be practicing for the evening. I'd be trying different tricks out in my family, and I'd be messing it up the whole time.
Yeah.
My hands would be shaking when I'd be holding the cards.
Are your parents still with us now?
Yes.
And what do they think of you now?
I don't know. I hope they're proud. I've gone a different avenue than my brothers, and obviously all of my other family members.
Yeah.
So I've taken a step, and I've gone a different route, but I've enjoyed it so far.
Oh my God, I just love it. I suppose I'd be like you in that I'm completely self-taught. I taught myself how to take photos, and I didn't go anywhere. I went to college after I had opened my business because I thought, I need a cert on the wall if anyone asks me, where did you learn? And I went and did this kind of part-time thing in a college, and I was like, I just can't be in the dark room developing prints on digital, so I just so I taught myself. So it is good. It's a longer process.
It is.
Though,
I think it's a better process.
It is completely,
because you learn the mistakes faster, and rather than saying don't do this, you learn what not to do faster than And if you're told different routes to take, you're kind of stuck. And when you go your own route, you learn a lot faster, even though it's a slower process. You get there in the end, I think.
Yeah. And tell me now, Aidan, what do you do? Do you read people's minds, or how do you do it? I know you can't tell me your secrets. I'm not asking you to do that, but do you? Do you know what I'm thinking right now?
I won't say it. But no, I do lots of, most of it would be a bit of mind reading, and then magic that you see on TV, like David Blaine or Dynamo, and like close-up magic that would be visual and instant.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be like balloon models or pulling rabbits out of hats or making wives disappear or any of that stuff. No, it'd be just...
That's just basic
no,
shit.
No. You pay extra for that. No, but it'd be just sleight of hand, robbing or stealing watches, borrowing rings.
So could you rob my ring off me now without
maybe.
me knowing? Oh my God.
I've swapped it already.
So can you take someone's watch off their wrist without them even knowing?
Yeah.
So you could earn a fortune doing this.
Yeah, but I give them back. I don't steal them. We give them back. We give them back at the end. That's a surprise element of it.
I've seen you taking money off people and set it on fire.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And their faces like, oh, that's my 50 quid.
Yeah. I borrow notes the whole time, it's most of the objects that we get off people that would have on them at the wedding. So like money, rings, watches, using their phones, different. So we're just trying to bring it so it's not just all of the stuff I bring, because everything I bring, people think, oh, it's a trick deck of cards, or it's a trick, or he's doing something, it's up his sleeve.
Yeah. I'm always looking for the sleeve going, what's coming out there now? And
it's only the arms. You don't need the arms that are up the sleeve.
And when you see lots of illusionists and magicians around the world, do you have a favourite one at all?
Well, in terms of magic, I think most magicians would look at Darren Brown as probably one of the most skillful. Just in terms of his mind and how it works. Because even when you go to a show, I've gone to shows in Dublin, and when you go to a show, as a magician, he knows magicians aren't there.
Yes.
And you feel like when you're going down the path with a magician, you kind of know that's the routine he's taken. Or you're going, okay, he's doing this, and then all of a sudden you just veer off, and he just brings you on a completely different path for a magician, and he just boggles your mind completely. Because he knows magicians are going to be there.
Oh my
he
gosh.
knows that they think, he thinks they're going to know what he's doing.
Know.
Yeah, and then he's just going to take you on a different path, and you're like, I didn't even know that was going to happen.
Oh.
And then you're just left. So that's what I love about Darren's show is just he knows who's going to be in the audience and he just takes everybody on the same journey. Yeah.
And would he come here often, or would you have to go off and see him?
Yeah, well, I think he performs obviously in London a lot, but he does do shows in Ireland every. I think he comes once a year.
Right.
I don't know whether he's here last year,
I
but
totally
he
have to
does.
go and see him
Yeah,
now.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But he's just very well spoken, very very articulate in everything that he does, and just he's a genius.
Oh my God.
His brain is just next level. So yeah.
And when you're at a wedding, then so you would come during the drinks reception a lot of the time. Do you do sort of, and my question for that was, how long do you stay? Is it 2 hours? Is it 3 hours? Is it an hour?
Yeah, well, most of the time we just try and, I have two kind of set packages that I do. So it'd be a drinks reception and I just fill that 2 hour gap in the day. So sometimes it'd be 2.5, but we just try and sit the 2 hours like 3:30 to 5:30, the ringing of the bell, and then we do something for the bride and groom before they get called into the room.
Sure.
And then the other slot would be the after dinner lull. And then again, that's 2 hours after the main course finishes up until the first dance.
That's a great time.
Yeah.
I'd say that's more expensive though.
Well, they're actually, I priced them both the same.
Oh,
So
did you?
yeah, so priced them both the same. But in terms of, they're obviously two different energy types because the drink reception's more relaxed.
Later.
They're crawling over your shoulders and rubbing you and trying to...
Rubbing you?
Yeah, just trying to see what's up your sleeves and...
Okay.
Yeah, just looking into your pockets and everything, yeah.
Oh my God.
They're more forward in their approach. But
because they're braver.
Yeah.
So which time slot do you prefer?
I actually enjoy both, but the drinks reception could be high energy if the crowd are good. The second slot, sometimes if there's music on in the background, it might be a little bit difficult to. It's obviously more. I have to more energy and speak a lot louder, but I enjoy the second slot, and I think the guests enjoy that second slot a little bit more because they've done everything throughout the day. They've had their drinks, they had their food, they're ready for a dance, and they're waiting for that 2 hour.
They're waiting for the band to go on.
Yeah, and that's it. I know, yeah, and that's it. It's just like from 8 to 10. It's just it just really fills that the lull in the day. And it just gets them energized for the band. Then.
Oh my God, I on fire! I saw somebody recently. I won't mention any names, and I'm thinking, oh, would you just stop it now? Putting people asleep and all that kind of business. Oh, anyway, I went on too long. Come here. Has anything ever gone wrong at a wedding or at an event?
Yes, lots of times.
Oh, Jesus, no. Did you get caught out?
No.
Oh, give me an example.
There comes a point when you're doing something that you kind of have an idea where you can take it, and you learn so much that you can like the audience never know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Like you never tell them you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You just tell them you're going to start here, and then you bring them on that journey, and then the journey ends wherever it ends.
Right.
But in terms of performing, I was doing something for Coca-Cola and I was making the can of Coke levitate. So it was a Coke Zero. So I was trying to make it levitate. And as it was levitating, it just slowly started to turn. But the first mistake I made was I opened the can before I started. So to make sure it was a real can. So then as it was floating, then the bottle or the can just started to turn. And then the liquid started to pour out onto the floor.
Oh no, stop.
So then as it went out, then the can just went a little bit higher. And then I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And then the whole thing just emptied. But then it actually worked out better in the end. My instincts just kicked in and I was able to control it. And then what happened was the can came back down on the floor where the liquid was, and it made a big massive splash, and the cameraman got a savage shot of the can.
Wow.
And then the vacuum, when you put a glass on the liquid, it just vacuums up, and that's what happened with the can of Coke was it just kind of started to suck back up into the can. So it actually worked out better, but it was just kind of instinct. Sometimes when you're on stage and everybody's watching you, it's more difficult. When you're in close-up at weddings, it's easier to manage because there's so many misdirection things that you can use.
Yeah.
And obviously eye contact is one of them.
Yes.
But in terms of stage, everybody's watching that one person on stage. So if you mess up, it's more difficult
You're gone.
Yeah. So it's more, but that's the thing. You try and see all the things that you analyze the show and see what can go wrong and try and see what route you can take if it does go wrong. So that's the work that goes into the back end of a show before you perform it. So you try and see everything that goes wrong and hope that you can
fix it. Yeah,
before it goes wrong. So when it does go wrong, you already know the route to take.
Oh my God.
I had another experience on a cruise. I brought a gentleman up on stage and I was asking him to do some questions with cards. I was asking to think of a playing card and random things like that. But I realised afterwards he just kept saying the same thing to me, and he wasn't giving me the correct answers. I was asking him like black or red, and he was just saying yeah. And then I was like, spades or clubs, and he was like yeah. And then I was like, I didn't know. So then I just left him there, and I just went into the audience and I asked them the questions, and they all chose a specific playing card, and that was the one that was in his pocket in the end.
Wow.
But what I realised afterwards was this gentleman suffered from Alzheimer's.
Oh my
And I didn't know that. Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah. So I felt bad, obviously, but everybody, all the entertainers on the ship knew this gentleman because he was a regular guest on the ship.
And you pulled him up on
and
stage.
They said, "Why did you pick John?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, "John has Alzheimer's." I was like, I wasn't aware of that.
Oh my God.
So that was just me choosing the wrong person.
Yes.
He wasn't the wrong person, but it was the wrong person for that routine.
Yeah.
And I was just on stage sweating. I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, I'm on a time limit here of a show for 45 minutes and I'm losing time here. So I just acted.
Him.
Yeah, but he was.
But it worked out well.
Oh, it worked out. That's the way I do the routine now. I actually participate the audience in that routine. So because of that, I do the routine a little bit differently now, and it works out much more enjoyable.
So obviously you don't just do weddings and go around to corporate, because you do stage stuff.
Yeah, not as much in Ireland. I do a few corporates would book you for stage, but obviously the demand for stage in Ireland isn't as big as it would be on cruise ships. So that's where I do my stage show. Would be I'd get hired by a cruise ship and do 2 45-minute shows over the course of a cruise.
Like, it's just, what you do is like highly entertaining. I have to say, like, as I would get asked so many times, what sort of alternative entertainment can you recommend for the drinks reception? Because, you can have musicians there, generally musicians, but I would always say somebody like you.
Fantastic.
Because you're entertaining the guests. Yeah. And what happens is you'll hear this kind of roar of laughter and everybody wants to be in on it.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you do. Like, I did one last weekend there. I was in Athy in Kildare, the new Abbey wedding venue.
Yes.
I was there for the first time. So, but I did one group, and then after you do one group, everybody's kind of like, come over here. Yeah, and I don't need to introduce myself, so it becomes much easier after a while that you don't need to. The first group, you have to try and approach them, and people think you're chatting up their missus or they're doing something, or you're trying to approach a group of girls, and you're just trying to show them that you're there to entertain. Yeah. But after you do the first group, then everybody's more welcoming, and they're like, come over here. Or they'll come and join. So sometimes you could get 30 people standing around you at a wedding. So it could be 5, it could be 2, or it could be 30 or 40 people. So I've done it before where all of a sudden I looked up, everybody was around me. I was like, I'm supposed to be here for 2 hours, not 5 minutes.
I know, yeah. Because you don't want that. You just want that little group, and then you want to move on to the next group.
Well, I feel it's more intimate for that group to experience it firsthand, because they see it on TV, they see it online, and they just don't believe it. And I suppose having it for 5 to 10 people is more intimate, because you can interact with them, they can involve, you can involve them, and there's a lot more intimacy performing for 5, 6 people as it is for 20 people, which it can still be done, but it's just more intimate for those to experience that and then move on. And
here's something that you probably don't know. You've no idea when you're gone, they're still talking about this for the night. Because I always go around the tables and photograph. Obviously, I love to document what's going on at the drinks reception. When people don't know the cameras on them, they're the best ones. Yeah. But I would always go into the room and photograph then. When they ring the bell for dinner, I go in then and we photograph everyone at the tables. So I photograph all the couples. The amount of people that I hear talking about what you've just done outside, and they're still talking about how you blew them away. Yeah. So I'd say word of mouth for you is a huge thing, is it?
It's massive. Yeah. It's like, obviously you're only as good as your last gig is what I live by. So you need to obviously be on point every time and try and give it your all. And obviously every wedding you do, you try and do a little bit more, or try and adapt different things to see what works and what doesn't work. And then on the way home, then you'd be analysing what went wrong or what you could have done better. But
would you give out to yourself?
Not really, but I'd be like, I would analyse everything and try and make everything better. It's just trying to make everything more finesse and just be more professional in every way I come across to people, speak to people and interact with them. Yeah. But it's magic, I believe, is probably the thing that people will talk about for the years to come afterwards, because they'll remember that moment that their watch vanished, or the time changed on their clock, or they thought of it.
Sorry to say that again. Their time changed on the clock.
Yeah, we can change times and everything.
God.
Yeah. But there's it's just the last, like when you experience it in your hands or in person, it's just a memory. It's a memory that's created that you wouldn't have ever experienced.
I'm all about the memories though.
Yeah. And some people just love it and they'll talk about it. Like I'd be leaving afterwards and one of my things is I try and remember everybody's name at a wedding. It's just something to keep my brain in tune. So
and do you succeed?
I'd remember most of them, or I'd have an idea. So I do try. It's just.
Do you want a job?
But people think that's a trick in itself. They're like, "Oh, you have a great memory." Like I'd be doing a group of people, and somebody would come up and they're like, "Hi, Connor." And you're like, "Oh, you remembered my name." But when you're leaving the venue, if you can remember their name when you're saying goodbye, if they're out in the smoking area, it just gives them a lasting memory that you actually remember that person rather than just he was performing for 200 people. You remembered me, so
that makes them feel important.
Yeah. And I just think it's important to make other people feel important as well. So.
I would think, Aidan, that you're probably one of the most, I say, one of the busiest magicians out there.
In terms of weddings, I've been working a lot since COVID to work on my act. I suppose before that I was kind of doing different bits of everything and I wasn't really understanding the business element of magic, whereas before I was just doing magic tricks and somebody'd ring me and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. But now I'm trying to work on it as a business, so it's a polished product that people are receiving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do a lot of weddings every year.
Yeah.
A lot.
What's a lot like?
I've been doing about 60 plus. Yeah.
Aidan, you're not wrecked.
I'm trying to get it up a little bit more, but you could do anywhere from. It depends. Each year it could be varied, but there's a lot of corporates that would come in as well.
Christmas, are you busy Christmas then?
Christmas is mental, yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas is, you'll be doing 3 shows a day sometimes with Christmas parties.
And like when you say just Christmas parties, that would be in different venues, would it?
They'd be all around. Well, like Dublin is probably where I do most of the work, but I get booked all around Ireland, but mostly Dublin would be like the Googles, the Facebooks, and the smaller companies then would have their Christmas parties.
Yeah.
But like the Christmas parties are mostly set out like a wedding format. So they have like the drinks reception, they have their meal or finger food, and then they have a relaxed time before the band. So it's the same format. So you either come in for an hour or 2 hours, or it really depends on the numbers. But it's the same format, same style, walking around, mixing, mingling, and it's Christmas. Everybody's happy, merry, and drinking whatever they're drinking.
Come here, you know when you come off on holidays then, do you? I don't know, because like I find it very hard to switch off my brain on holidays and just relax. Do you ever start messing with anyone when you're on holidays and they don't know you're a magician? Steal their watch? No.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, because some people take it up wrong. So I wouldn't like to. No, that's it. You rob my watch, and you can't prove you're a magician unless you're But no, I do try. Sometimes when the time is right, I pick the moments and try and do something. Yeah, even for people in the shop, you'd do something. They kind of look at you. So I did it for somebody at the toll before, paying years ago. I
was going to ask you, did you ever do it on the guards? Come on, tell me the
I
toll.
did it for the toll. I was like, gave you one, it was like $2.90 or something. I just gave it to her and I handed it to her and it wasn't in her hand. And then she just gave me a look and I was like, oh, sorry. I had to hand it back to her, but like she didn't understand the whole idea that I was doing a trick. She just thought I was actually trying to fool her. But yeah, sometimes it goes, it can go either way, but it's just about trying to pick the right person that you know is going to be happy to see it or might appreciate it.
Imagine picking on the guard, then you'd be really arrested.
Yeah. I've never done anything on guard.
But come here, you did something on me now just before we went on to air. You asked me to write stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
so you're thinking of it. Do you want to try and see if I can get it in?
So do you want to tell everybody what you asked me to write?
No, well, I can think of what you're thinking of. I asked you to think of a friend.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can think of your friend's name.
Okay. Now, if you tell me what my friend's name is, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass out on the floor because there's no way you could know this.
The podcast will be finished soon, so I don't know whether I can get it or not, but we'll try it. So it's just more of an experiment that we try. Yeah. So we'll. So you just think of whether the person's a male or a female in your head. So don't say anything. Okay. Just think if it's a male or a female.
You're staring at me right now.
That's the idea. So you're just trying to get into it.
He's reading my mind. Yeah. This freaks me out, by the way.
Just think if it's so male or female in your head. And obviously when the last time you've met this person and maybe you spoke to them on the phone recently or not. So just think of how many letters are in the name. And then just say the alphabet. Just say it quite fast. Just go through the alphabet. Yeah, just focus on the last letter of the name. when you're saying
The
this.
last letter of the name when I'm doing my alphabet.
Yeah,
okay.
go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. Really have to forget U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Okay, so I know it's not the last part because you just kind of stumbled over the rest of it. So I
Okay.
think it's the obviously most of the letters are in the first part of the alphabet. Okay, we'll try this.
Oh, God.
We'll try this.
This freaks me out.
Okay, how many letters are in the name? Imagine you're writing it, so your eyes are just, don't move your eyes, but just imagine you're writing it again.
So do I tell you how many letters are in the name?
No, don't tell me anything.
Oh, Jesus.
There's about 7 letters, 6 letters, 7 letters in the
Yeah.
name, I think, yeah. When was the last time you met this person?
Do I tell you?
Yeah, if you know when you met them last.
Yeah, last Sunday week.
You met them recently, so would you meet them regularly?
Regularly enough. Not every few weeks now, but yeah, regularly
Okay, so
enough.
from that, it's a female that you would have met, and you'd probably meet them. Just imagine you're going up to the person
Yeah,
and you're going to tip them on the shoulder.
yeah.
Their back is to you, and you're going to tip them on the shoulder, and you're going to say,
Oh my gosh, you got goosebumps right now.
you're just going to say Sinead.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! How did you do that? How did you? Oh my God! Dan is the podcast host. I know he's listening. Dan, can you speak? We were talking about you before you came in. Oh my God! Yes, it was Sinead.
Would you have a place in mind as well?
That I met her.
You know, you just have a place in mind, like a country. You have a country in mind, do you?
Yeah.
Or a place that you
Yeah,
like?
yeah.
Places
Love.
you go on holidays. Oh, you love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you obviously go there regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
regularly
Okay.
enough,
So
yeah.
is that probably somewhere in Europe, because you probably wouldn't go to America regularly because it'd be too far to travel, or
Yeah.
Australia or any of those. So it'd be more in Europe, like around Tenerife.
Oh my God!
Is it Tenerife?
Oh my God! Yes.
Tenerife.
Oh my! How did you know this?
I don't know.
I've actually written it in a book here. Oh my God. Yes, Tenerife. I'm going
Tenerife,
there next
yeah.
Monday, by the way.
Yeah. You might meet Sinead.
Oh, no, Sinead's not going.
You might bring Jack with you as well.
Who's Jack?
Is Jack the toy, the name?
Oh my God, Aidan. Oh my God. I can't even speak right now. That's very unusual for me. You asked me to write down my favourite childhood toy. How did you know that?
What was your toy?
A Jack in the Box.
A Jack in the Box. Okay.
The hell? Did you so my first, the toy that I remember the most and I loved was like a Jack in the Box. Now, I don't know how parents would put up this Jack in the Box, and you want to see the state of it now. But yeah, I actually don't know what to say. Oh my God. But how did you know that?
Just, you give me signals.
I gave you signals.
Yeah,
How the hell did you pick Jack in the Box though? And Sinead. Oh my God, that is unbelievable. Now I'm actually at the receiving end of this. I wish someone was photographing me right now.
Yeah.
Like this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what you do to people at weddings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we never meet these people before, and there's nothing set up, or there's never anything. It's just you meet them there, and then you do something, and then you're gone in an instant. Like in 5-10 minutes, you're gone. So
I could have said any one of my friends, like 55 million of them, but I
Yeah.
just said Sinead. I wrote Sinead down, and I was very careful not to say Sinead throughout the chat.
Yeah.
And you just picked Sinead. Anyway, I'll be dreaming about that now tonight.
yeah.
So tell me, if you were to tell me your favourite part of your job, so obviously you do commercial, you do weddings, do you have a favourite gig?
I do enjoy weddings a lot more than I enjoy the corporate end of things, but I enjoy the corporate because obviously you're meeting higher end clients, and
Yeah.
you get exposed to a lot of business people. But I enjoy Christmas parties a lot because obviously the festive feeling, and
They're all in the
everybody,
buzz.
yeah, they're finished work.
They're drinking.
They're on holidays. They're finished work, and they're able to let loose for a couple of hours. So
Yeah.
that's a great energy, just going from a Christmas party to another Christmas party to another one. It's just like
Yeah.
you're on a constant buzz.
Would you do a few a day?
Yeah, well, it just depends. So you try and some companies could book you for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. So like you might be one evening in one venue, but you might have 2 or 3 over the course of the day because they might bring you in for a lunchtime gig in their canteens. So like you might do an hour in one place and then you move on to the next one and move on to the next one. So you could do anywhere 8, 9 a week.
And you're not exhausted at the end
Yeah,
of it
afterwards,
all.
but like you're just on a constant buzz. Like you're feeding off the energy of the crowd, and then you're taking that energy into the next venue, and then you're going again, and then you're taking all that energy, and you're meeting all these people, and you're getting to know them, and you're on a buzz with them, and then you're leaving. The only thing is the downside is you have to leave. You're leaving. Bye.
Yeah, I know.
But
I mean, I have to go back to that. I still cannot believe that you picked Sinead. I have to show this here on camera, right? He asked me to write down a friend's name, and I put it here in a black book, and I wrote Sinead. Okay. Favourite country, Tenerife. Favourite childhood toy, Jack in the Box. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But obviously you are super, 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 super talented, and you are the best magician I have ever come across. Aidan, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you?
You can get in touch online. Instagram or website is Aidan Murphy Magic, or the Instagram is just Aidan Murphy Magic as well. So all of the social media handles are Aidan Murphy Magic.
Oh my God, Aidan.
Yeah.
Well, today was an absolute pleasure. You shocked the socks off me, even though I'm not wearing any. Thank you so much for coming in. And I will definitely 150 million% be hiring you at my next launch.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks so much, Aidan.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm blown away.
Thank you.